his short remarks and presentation on leveraging investment opportunities in ICT, media, and all. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes.
Good evening, everyone, and all protocols observed. I mean, after that talk, I don't know what people are looking at me for. What do you say? It's an interesting point he makes, because indeed the world is moving along. I asked a 19-year-old boy who came to do an internship in my office. I asked him to tell me what is it like to be 19 these days. He was a bit reluctant. I'm sure he was suspicious of me or something like that. After about 15 minutes, he started talking. And believe me, nothing he said made sense to me. They live in a different world. Okay, I want to talk to you about what you have all come to know as Nollywood. Sometime in 1993, I left Citibank and engaged then with some activity that my late wife then was doing, Igwe then. And we started developing something that had come after the film Living in Bondage had been done. We started developing a project called Rattlesnake. I don't know if anybody in this room remember that. Okay, that was my first investment in this business. It was supposed to be a test. It turned out to be a very successful one. 25 odd years after that, we're at the cusp of a new revolution. He just said the word digital. Digital isn't just about what's happening in one sector. It's about a new word called convergence. A lot of sectors are coming together on this one platform, digital, and it's transforming and disrupting everything else. I'll give you an example. There's a television station here, ESBS, right? Has a big compound and everything and all that, a big mast. There's one mast on top of 9th Mile where they're talking to all of us from. In the new digital world, everything that ESBS is doing, you can do from where those people are sitting down behind there. You don't even need all that stuff. You need like maybe 2 or 3 of those laptops on your delivery. So what am I saying? We're in Enugu State and looking at new opportunities and leveraging things. The biggest asset in the new digital world is knowledge. It's an intellectual economy. People can walk in with just themselves and what's in their head and translate immediately to large amounts of money. I'll restrict the conversation to the movie business. Just to give you an example, I'll just call off some numbers. 1.67 million. That's the number of hours of digital media content required by the TV stations in Nigeria to remain on air for 24 hours. 1.67 million hours of digital content. The total supply of all the stations in Nigeria right now is less than 15% of that. 1.6 billion. That's the number of people of African descent worldwide who are culturally connected to the content that's been made in Nigeria here. 30,000 movies. That's the number of movies that were made in this market and in Nigeria out of Nollywood over the past 15 years. That's the largest number of movies made by any country in the world, in any country, including the United States. We've made more movies than them in the past 15 years. $8.1 billion. That's the estimate that PricewaterhouseCoopers has of the value of the Nigerian film industry by 2017. Most importantly, it's $728 billion. That's the value of the media and entertainment business out of the United States, of which 50% or more is out of the state of California. To put perspective on that, that's 222 trillion naira. The Nigerian budget, which we are struggling to pass, is 6.1 trillion naira. It gives you perspective. The state of California is the 8th largest economy in the world. Two things drive that economy, primarily. There are three, but two are the main drivers: ICT and media. The economy is $2.3 trillion. It's the 8th largest economy, 7th largest economy in the world. It's bigger than Brazil. It's bigger than Italy. It's bigger than Russia. California, a state like Enugu. Mr. Nicholas Okoye asked a question here. He said, focus. What is focus? Focus is what do you want to do? What's your competitive advantage? What do you do best? I can stand here and tell you that Nollywood, the film industry, is an Enugu state business. There are a few things I can mention. In 2003, 2004, we made 800 plus movies in Enugu. It was the largest concentration of movies made anywhere in Nigeria, including Lagos. Then Enugu was user-friendly. They welcomed people, they did the business here. The average budgets of each of those movies was about 5 million. In 2003, 2004, we put 4 billion naira into this economy, and nobody even saw that coming. But then, response and reactions and, I don't know, I guess a bit of a lack of hospitality moved that business out of this place. A lot of stuff is happening in Asaba now, a lot more is happening in Lagos. But the key thing here is to know that the business is actually not where it is located. The business is where the people who have the most skills about how to make this happen, where they reside. So the business is in the people, which means there's an opportunity here to take that business back. I spoke to Mr. Ikechi on the phone, and he was telling me that that business has gone to Asaba and Lagos. We have to bring it back here, and I agree. It's with the people. So, my proposal is that we have a changing world. Somebody mentioned up here that the 100, I think the word from the NCC is that there are 152 million phone lines in Nigeria. Mr. Leo Stan mentioned that there's a whole lot of fiber being laid all over. Fiber is high capacity bandwidth. It allows for things to happen a whole lot faster than it's happening now. But the truth of fiber is that fiber isn't about just voice and text. Fiber is a new video, and it's new TV, and it's a new carrier. With fiber, it means that we have changed the way TV is delivered. Connected TVs are carrying Wi-Fi inside those TVs, which means that you can actually change the paradigm and disrupt the entire television business by being here. Question is, who owns and who makes the content that goes there? In this room, there's Wi-Fi. How many of you have seen Wi-Fi here? What does Wi-Fi look like? Is it all like me? The truth of the matter is that all of that technology, you cannot see or feel it except when it comes in contact with what is called content, media content. That's what qualifies technology. So the bandwidth and all of that is experienced when you feel what it is you're watching, and all of that, and somebody has to provide that content. I really enjoyed the education session here because when we talk about the media content business, there's a tendency to look at what we do on TV, what we do on video and all that. But you know the biggest growth market? She just pointed to the fact, none of those children are reading books. They're all using what? Tablet. All of education in the next 2 years will be audiovisual. Who is making the content that your children and my children will use for education? Nobody's there. They will be learning content that is made in Pakistan and in China, India, and in other places. That's a new growth market. I'm just saying that the opportunities here are just unbelievable. My business has a commitment to develop capacity across all platforms. And capacity isn't just about training people, it's about also training host communities, financial services, and uptake. The bottom line here is that we want to become the single largest provider of media content of African origin in the world. And there's a reason for that. Everywhere you go in the world, people are qualified by their cultural affinity. So you go into a place like the United States, you have a German American, Italian American, French American. You also have the Nigerian American. The bigger group is called the African American. The question is, everybody brings their culture to the table. Many of you travel all over the world. I don't know how you have experienced Nollywood outside of Nigeria. I personally, my surname is Igwe. I went to Kenya, and they give you a visa on arrival. So I gave my passport, and the man stamped the visa on it. Upon returning my visa, what I heard was Igwe. So the communication is there. The question here is, do we realize the power that we have been given because we can create media content and we can define that? Think about perception. Here we are in an investment summit for Enugu State. What is the perception? Who knows Enugu? Who knows Enugu? We all do, and our friends, and the people who know us, or have heard about us and all that. Let me give you another example. There's a city called Dallas. How many of you remember it? How many of you remember Dallas by the television show Dallas? That's the power of what we do. It's perception. I see some of our security guards here. They look like some very serious New York cops, right? Where do you think they got that from? It's perception, it's imagery. How many people have met a US Marine here? How many people believe that US Marines don't die? That once they come in on a situation, it is solved, right? The Americans are selling their perceptions excellently. Now we have the power to do that here. We have the power to create perceptions and sell them about Enugu first, and if we are generous, about Nigeria. We can change the entire view of this entire place. We can change the entire view of who we are, the entire view of what we want to be, what we want to do. By doing what? Creating an army of people who create media content and put them out across all the platforms. I was telling Mr. Eke that Nyaya, one of his favorite stars, makes 10 million naira every week without performing. Why? He puts out a 3-minute video on YouTube. In 2 weeks, they've got like 3-4 million views on it. They bring him the dollars, translates to about 10 million naira every week. That's the new reality, my guys. So first, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm not sure that the podium like this is where you discuss the opportunities, but I can see everywhere I'm looking around, I can see dollar signs. And it's good to be back. Thank you for the opportunity.